No, he doesn't, pulling the Vikings away. Some missile turrets going up, and I'd expect the scan to go up as soon as he gets over that Banshee, like you said, Husky. And now the Vikings going to be able to chase that Banshee away. Oh, it goes down to the turret.
He flew into the missile turret right when he got out of the range of the scan. That was a little bit lucky there for CauthonLuck, but still for KawaiiRice, just the fact that that Banshee was so weakened, and there is the 2 orbital commands. One still has enough for a scan even after all that. And so even though he did lose it to the missile turret, I don't expect that Banshee would have done much more damage. And so CauthonLuck gotta be looking to be in good shape now, because he did get his expansion earlier here, and the income here for KawaiiRice gotta pick up. He must have summoned some mules or got something going on. He does have one, and so he's getting his expansion, but it is a lot later, and also getting the 2nd orbital command a little bit later as well.
Yeah, right now KawaiiRice struggling to catch up to CauthonLuck because he invested so heavily in those Banshees. They didn't pay off all that well, and now there's Vikings coming out for Chthon. Chthon has map control right now. He has the economy to basically one-up against Kauai, and now he's moving out with 5 Vikings. He's going to see what kind of damage he can do, control the map. I mean, there's a medvac. Can we take a look at that starport? There is a Raven coming out. I'd expect Ravens to come out right about now because Ravens do have that point defense drone.
Yeah, the point defense drone absolutely outstanding in almost every matchup. You do have to be careful, though, against the Vikings, because if you put that point defense drone in, they can snipe it very easily, and losing that medvac extremely quickly. Like I was talking about, the range on these Vikings extremely long, and he needs to be careful that the Viking doesn't spawn here right when those, or not the Viking, but the Raven, excuse me, when the Vikings are there. So here we go. He's landing here, not the best positioning, although he's actually trying to micro these Vikings. Once they get hurt, he's going to lift them off, and look at that. I think he only lost 1 right there.
Yeah, actually losing 2 to those Marines right there, but I really like that micro. I've never seen micro like that used, where you lift off the Viking from assault mode to flying mode to avoid taking damage from the Marauders.
That's actually one thing that's actually really difficult to do, because there's an animation that it takes a second or 2 to actually do that, so you have to preemptively lift them off, so that was really good.
Yeah, it's about a 3-second delay. Now we actually have the Banshees moving across for KawaiiRice, still trying to do damage. Comsat goes down, not going to happen. This Banshee build has not been working for KawaiiRice. CauthonLuck holding it down. And one thing I do want to mention is, even though KawaiiRice is getting these Ravens, I'm not quite sure if the point defense drone is going to be all that effective, because it does not work on Vikings when they're in assault mode. It only works against attacks that have a projectile that you can see. So the Vikings, there's nothing to block because he has no air units to defend besides the Raven itself. So the point defense drone not going to be all that effective.
Yeah, he'll probably have to go for that Hunter Seeker missile, which I don't see it upgraded quite yet, but that is good against Terran blobs of units if his opponent does get a bunch more Marauders. Probably wouldn't be that good against the Vikings because they stay spread out so well, but here are more Marauders. I mean, there are a lot of barracks here, especially with all these add-ons, and so if he can get that Hunter Seeker missile, could keep him in this game. I don't know if, like you said, we'll see that point defense drone as much, although Ravens, it's really hard to keep him alive against those Vikings because the range is just so phenomenal on the Vikings. I mean, the 9 range, you can snipe just about anything.
Right.
So it's got to be up to KawaiiRice to keep those Ravens alive.
Yeah, I think right now the best shot for the Raven right now would maybe to be used for the Hunter Seeker missile. The point defense drone not going to be all that effective. We do have concussive shells being researched for CauthonLuck as well. That could be a major factor when the battle occurs, because KawaiiRice won't be able to pull his Marauders away and micro them. Vikings continue to fly across the middle of the map, trying to just play a little bit of cat and mouse, get that scouting advantage. And right now, actually, I think KawaiiRice went for a 2nd Raven. Do we see 2 Ravens? Oh, I'm not quite sure I agree with this. Getting a 3rd Raven as well. I'm not sure I agree with having 3 Ravens when he has no air units for the point defense drone to be used effectively.
It is really weird to see this many Ravens in TBT, but again, is he getting the point defense, or not, the Seeker missile? Yeah, so he has it on the way now, but it's going to be a really awkward moment here where he's investing so much gas into those Ravens, and it's exactly this is what CauthonLuck needs to do. He actually could have done this a long time ago. Put these Vikings on the high ground, got to be in range of this refinery. Look how fast he goes down, got to get burned down almost immediately. Got to stim over here and try and do as much damage as possible, and he did actually lose a Viking there. Good control from KawaiiRice, but the harassment, since he doesn't have air units like we've been talking about to deal with this, I don't know if it's going to work. And the high ground advantage in StarCraft 2, for those of you who don't know, is you can only shoot units on high ground if you can see them.
Right.
And so got to be a lot of annoying harassment here, but his Ravens are still alive. We'll see if he can get that Hunter Seeker missile.
He needs to be careful not to lose his Ravens right now. He doesn't have that much anti-air, and the Vikings can kind of skirt around the perimeter of that Marine Marauder ball and then get a few snipes off on those Ravens. That would be absolutely critical because he's invested so much. He almost has the Hunter Seeker missile. Can we take a look and see just how close that HSM missile is done to being researched, or close to being done researched? It's almost ready. When that's done, that's the only ability I can think of that can make a huge difference. A couple Hunter Seekers on that infantry ball of CauthonLuck could change the game around fundamentally. Looks like we're going to have a massive engagement right here. Are we going to see Hunter Seeker missiles? It's not ready. It's not researched yet. And the Ravens just floating into the Vikings. Horrible control right there. And now the Vikings, their job done, going to land. And you guys can see the point defense drone being used, but there's nothing to really block.
Yeah, that was so unfortunate. It was down to the wire there. KawaiiRice overextended himself by about 2 seconds too early. Lost all 3 Ravens, and look how close this battle actually was. Imagine if there was Hunter Seeker missiles blowing the rest of these units up. KawaiiRice would have had a huge advantage. I think he had the army advantage there, but he just didn't quite use those Seeker missiles, and those Ravens do not come cheap. So KawaiiRice's control, not the best. They're really unfortunate. I would have liked to see that and see how close this could have been.
Yeah, it was probably a good 2 to 3 seconds away for the Hunter Seeker missile upgrade to be finished. And so I guess that was just a lacking on timing on his part, lacking control. And if he had those Hunter Seeker missiles, it would have been a huge difference. Now, KawaiiRice in a huge deficit. His army count is significantly lower, I believe. He's at 90 right now. And I'm not sure what CauthonLuck is at 112, so he's definitely got a much larger army. Vikings continuing to abuse this high ground on Lost Temple. And I'd expect eventually CauthonLuck to move in and overrun KawaiiRice. And like I said, not sure if Ravens. I think that might be the reason why he kind of fell behind in that major battle.
Absolutely, the Raven Hunter Seeker missiles, this whole game is going to come down to that, I would think. One thing I do like KawaiiRice is doing is he's keeping this factory here so that those units aren't going to be able to safely land here, especially once this missile turret is done. But there isn't even going to be enough energy here for KawaiiRice to use another Hunter Seeker missile, and with his opponent going into the high yield minerals, he is going to have to push out and make something happen. But it looks like CauthonLuck may just try and seal the deal right now.
Yeah, I think KawaiiRice might have his cards laid out for him right now. Huge battle going on right in front of the natural. Stim being used, even Vikings from assault mode to take care of this. A defense turret being laid because the Raven had no energy to use anything else, but the turret's not even in range to shoot anything. Oh god, those things are so weak. And now CauthonLuck pushing in, and I think this might be GG for game 1 as KawaiiRice is going to probably surrender his natural.
Yep, very unfortunate here for KawaiiRice to actually lose that game like that, especially it all came down to the Hunter Seeker missile, and so CauthonLuck is going to be up 1-0 rather, and so KawaiiRice will actually be able to choose the next map, so we'll have to see what map he's most comfortable on. That's just how this tournament is set up, where people can choose their second map, so hopefully for KawaiiRice's sake, he's been practicing on that map, and it can be a much closer game than this one, but we are going to go on to game number 2.
Alright, let's do it.
Alright, loading that up right now. Let me go and try to find that.